Hello and welcome to the Deaf and Bad podcast. My name's Sean. Joining me today is Lukas Mr. LP. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. How are you, man?
Oh, forget about all that, Sean. We have a birthday in the house.
We do. We
have
do.
A birthday
2 days ago.
Well, it's a birthday week that you've been carrying on. And if you didn't pick up that hint, it's Sean's birthday, everyone. The day before Valentine's Day, yet again.
Yet again, every year I roll the die and it's always the one before V-Day. You know?
Yeah.
I thought it was the first Tuesday of every February, but not the case.
But it was also S'mores Day this year.
S'mores Day? What's that?
Second Tuesday of every February. S'mores Day. I think it's like the day you eat s'mores.
Wow.
S'mores? Oh, no.
You're thinking of iced Vovos. Well, maybe you're getting it mixed up with housemate of the program Stelio's father's birthday, which was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Also falling on V-Day.
National Popcorn Day? Would you like to hazard a guess at when that is?
Mate, this feels like an episode of Chasers War and everything. Popcorn Day's got to be the 8th of Feb.
Well, actually, Sean, I got you something for your birthday. It's a first time
present on the pod.
Is it?
I gave Dante a scarf before a pod once.
Before a pod.
Thanks for this, mate.
No worries. I'll search second Tuesday in Feb.
Oi!
Oh, you're not even there yet. Oh, don't ruin the wrapping.
Don't ruin the audio. Oh my god, it's past parcel. It's yours now. Aussie Trivia Challenge. Did I say I wanted to do trivia at the start of this episode?
No, you didn't.
I had one trivia question.
But you did say something about the chase, and that's what sparked my...
The Chasers War and everything.
Yeah,
thanks for that, mate.
Oh, I thought you said the chase, like as in the chase.
Oh, the one with the LeBron.
Oh yeah, would you like to take listeners through what you've just opened?
Yeah, I've just opened a tin that says Aussie Trivia Challenge.
Yeah?
And you know I love trivia.
Yeah, oh god, know it well. It's from me and mine to you and yours.
Alright. Classic.
Is this just the rules?
No, this is... Well, the rules are they're questions. Donald Bradman's batting average.
Donald
Bradman's batting average.
99.94.
Correct.
Yeah.
On which denomination banknote did Banjo Patterson appear?
10.
Fuck. 2 for 2.
Bloke's Aussie.
And I'll leave... You've now officially got your visa.
Jeez,
thanks for that, mate.
No worries. I really thought they'd use more of that tin.
Yeah, that's a full tin.
We say I would say an A5 tin.
Yeah.
And what are the question cards?
The cue cards are half a phone size. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I guess. Look, let's not get into the intricacies of a gift store.
The depth of the gift.
Third trivia question: can you go 3 for 3?
Yeah, potentially.
In Moses Moody's 3 seasons in the NBA, which season did he average a career high for points?
Now, logically, you want to go with the third year because he's most experienced. The fact that it's a trivia question makes me think it's the first or the second year. I feel like it might be one of those things where he played only a few games in his first or second year, and he averaged a lot of points in the one where he played a very few amount of games.
Do you want...
No.
Would you like his games played?
I'm just taking you through my thinking. I'm going to say... Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks. No, thank you.
I want to say it's not this year. I want to say it's year 1.
Cool, it's this year. I fully got you thinking. It was a very obvious question. I just wanted you to loop around, and thanks for verbalising your loop around in your head.
Worries.
Yeah, fucking awesome. Good podcast. Thanks for the present.
Yeah.
Today, I'm sure you've read the title of the episode, but we're going to be breaking down the NBA trade deadline because we did an episode just before the deadline, and then you had a guest on after the deadline. So, we've actually missed breaking down the NBA trade deadline, so I have copied out every single trade that has happened at the 2024 NBA trade deadline. I've got links to it if you want to click on it as well.
All being reported through Hoops Rumors, by the way.
Yeah, I mean we don't now that it's happened, they've all technically been reported through NBA PR, so we don't have to give the credit here. Yeah. So yeah, we've just got all the trades in front of us. We've got also Hoops Rumors, sort of notable candidates who stayed put and players waived on deadline day, which is now a little bit outdated.
Yeah,
we probably only want to talk about Spencer Dinwiddie there, but we've got the list. We're not going to hit every trade, but where do you want to start?
Well, before you said NBA PR, if you were to say that as a word, it would sound like the French striker's last name.
Mbappe.
Mbappe.
And yeah, no, you're fully right.
Not bad.
Did you see he had a nice goal against Lazio last night? Yeah.
Lazio's the racists, though.
Really?
Oh, I think like the word, like in he's just saying something, but the most racist club in Italy.
Wow, really?
I think so. They have ties to not the.
No, I actually got it wrong. They played Bayern Munchen.
The Germans have never done anything wrong.
I didn't know they were the most racist.
Oh, they're horrible.
I mean, didn't they elect that chick who's like the French president / it's a president?
The French kid.
No, the French Prime Minister. Sorry, the Italian Prime Minister's like horrible, isn't she? Isn't she like got ties to alt-right conspiracy and
conspiracy theories?
Maybe,
potentially.
I'm going to stop talking before I say something incorrect. But
yeah.
I believe, maybe she hailed from Lazio, which I'm just hearing. Jamie, pull that up on the computer. I'm hearing that Lazio is very racist.
yeah, I heard this to a friend one time. Also, housekeeping. Samuel Sterry.
True. Yeah, well, we're going to do that at the end. Let's fucking do it now.
Let's do it at the start, bro. First ever article. How many first ever articles do you get? I got 2, but how many do you get usually?
I think you usually get 1.
Yeah.
And I think same as birthdays. Each year you get 1. Welcome Sam Sterry. So we've published an article on thedeep2.com. I can't believe it's that simple. It's just thedeep2.com. Put that into your browser or follow us on socials and click on it there. Samuel Sterry has published an article on Jalen Green. He's a Houston Rockets fan. And he's come on at a perfect time because Jalen Green, I think, is turning a corner. He's really turned it up in the past couple of weeks, pretty much since the end of January, which is a big enough sample size to ask the question if Jalen Green's turned a corner, and check it out on thedeep2.com to hear Sam's breakdown of what he thinks and why it's happening.
Yeah, I think great first article. The hours of watching a really bad team, I think, paid off in this article for Sam. Because he obviously had been watching while they were bad, and he had good insights. Good he combined qualitative and quantitative stuff in the article, and I like the direction you took the article. And then I don't know. I just know Jalen Green was inefficient in his first years, but I couldn't be like, this is what he was doing, and this is what he was doing wrong. I'd be like, dumbass. 3 of 12 or whatever. Fucking Jalen Green is just killing it right now.
Yeah, killing it up. Every now and again he does have a bad game, but it's mostly good games now.
Well, he's only human.
Yeah.
Sorry, human.
Yeah, human. Where do you want to start off where do you want to start this pod?
Well, we've started. I think probably... Should we just lump the Mavs ones together?
Yeah.
Mr. J. Washington and Mr. Gafford making their way to the Mavericks of Dallas. The Hornets, who had PJ Washington, acquire Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a first-round pick, top 2 protected in 2027.
And to get that pick, they had to renegotiate with... was that... No, that was completely unrelated. Keep going.
And, I mean... I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Daniel for 4 years in Washington, potentially 5 or 3.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but the Wizards acquire Rishwan Holmes and either the Thunders, Clippers, Rockets top 4 protected or Jazz's top 10 protected 2024 first round pick, whichever is the second least favourable, and the Mavericks get Daniel Gafford. Now I've been texting in a lot of chats, but in a one-on-one chat with Johnny, who should 100% come on one of these pods one day. But he asked if this turns the Mavericks into contenders. I don't think I'm going to go that far, but I will say it's they've added in PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford 2 bigs, 4-5s. PJ Washington 4, Daniel Gafford 5. They've added 2 players that fit the game plan. And although it's surplus to requirement, if there is a team on surplus to requirement, it's Lukas' team. And I just think that this kind of lets them not have a bad game. Yeah. Bringing in these depth pieces. Well, I mean, even the fact that Gafford is a depth piece now, and he was completely fine in a starting role, albeit at the Wizards. But yeah, I just think that this allows them more opportunities to be able to run a closing 5 that's hot in a certain game. So I think they're just solid, easy moves to make.
Yeah, I agree, and I really like Daniel Gafford as a basketball player. He's definitely not in the upper echelon of centres as someone who, like, you're going to throw him out there and it's like, cool, you've got an above average defence, because he's never been part of an above average defence, I don't think. Even when he was with Washington, when you had Beal, like, were you better on offence than you were on defence?
Well, we're never good on D.
You were never great at anything, really. No. But, like, Gafford's never been, the linchpin of a great defence. And, like, neither is Derek Lively. And you gave up a pick to get off Rashawn Holmes, who just wasn't playing, right? Yeah. So, like, that's definitely an upgrade. You've got Gafford, who, like, at the very least, I say you, but it's no longer your team. The Mavs have Gafford, who's at the very least a very good backup centre, right? PJ Washington, I was really interested to see wherever he went, because I'm just interested to see what he can do on a team that has people who can pass on the ball. But the playing devil's advocate, the knock on these trades is that they were able to do that renegotiation with OKC to get that extra pick so they could trade it right now, because they were going to break the step-in rule. So they had to go to OKC and to get their 2024 first-round pick back, or to get that second least favourable of Thunder, Clippers, Rockets, Jazz, right? To get that stuff, they had to give up swap rights with the Thunder in 2028, because the Thunder had their 2024 pick, however it ended up there. So they pretty much swapped a pick there to be able to trade that pick for Gafford. But the devil's advocate here is that should they have just waited to the off season and they would still have all these guys. They've still got Luka and Curry under contract, and then they would get another pick because it's hit the off season, so they could trade their 31 first round pick. They would have their draft pick on opening night. They still could have done this OKC trade, or maybe they didn't. They didn't even have to. They could have just kept that pick swap in 28 and then traded for, like, a bigger superstar, or traded for, instead of Daniel Gafford, like a guy who's, like, going to be a definite starter. And maybe you can also throw Derek Lively in there, and then at the same time you don't have PJ Washington, but they're going to get outbid by all the teams. Like, if someone good does become available, like, Jazz and Jazz, New Orleans, and OKC are always going to have more picks than they could trade. Yeah. But what do you think about the devil's advocate take there, that they should have saved it for a bigger piece instead of upping the supporting cast?
How could it make sense to bring in a bigger piece? Is it just lumping in all the smaller salaries together? I think Luka's good with heaps of options.
Yeah, but, like, what if, I'm not saying, like, bring in Bradley Beal, right? Like, that's always been the name, but let's say it's not a Bradley Beal type, let's say it's a Rudy Gobert type. So if someone like Rudy Gobert becomes available, who doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective, you bring in, like, a Rudy Gobert, and all of a sudden your defense is better, and Luka gets to touch the ball just as much.
Yeah, true. I think the getting two first round picks lighter in all of this for, PJ Washington and Gaff. Maybe that is, fair enough. Like maybe you're a bit salty about giving up two first round picks for those two players. I don't think that you can't bank on that trade becoming available. And I think you need to just look at these two moves as two good trades.
Yeah.
They're completely fine trades. PJ Washington, I assume both of these players are also under contract until the end of next year.
I believe so.
Yeah.
If not, it's like they can re-sign it.
Yeah. And I think just, like, getting the continuity and the chemistry and building familiarity for the rest of this season, a training camp, and then the rest, and then all of next season. I don't think that the Mavericks can contend this year. I think that, though, this sets them up well for next year, like a genuine ring run.
Yeah.
Like not like you're not, like, trying to build the case. You're like, oh, the Mavericks might actually win the ring, or they might at least make it out. Or they might make it out of the West.
But, like, they sort of have to as well. Where it's like, if you have another year of not making it, and they are quite deep. Like, they've obviously got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, but they've got Josh Green, who's been good. I mean, I really like Jaden Hardy. Dante Exum's been excellent. He's unfortunately been injured for the past couple of weeks. They still need to fix the 3 slot, but they've got Derrick Jones Jr. and Tim Hardaway Jr., who are two. They're probably 2s and 4s, but they're still both good players. They've got PJ, no real backup there, and then at centre they've got Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, and Maxi Kleber. I'm not going to mention Dwight Powell for obvious reasons, but they've got 3 good centres there. They've got enough good guards like Luka, Dante Exum, Josh Green, and Luka Doncic. Like, that's your 48 minutes of guard play right there. Like, they've got.
Did you say Kyrie?
Kyrie as well, right? Like, they're so fucking deep.
Yeah.
and we'll talk about the Knicks as well. It's like the Knicks are also deep, and maybe this is what the NBA is going to look like in this new second apron era, where it's like you can't really have a Phoenix who just goes out and just gets the 3 best players that they can, and then just all minimums around them. Maybe this is how you win at least come out of your conference just by having a really, really deep team. But I wouldn't like it, but I'm sort of really interested to see what PJ Washington can do. And maybe we won't actually see what he can do because they're just 2 ball-dominant guards with him. But I'm interested to see, and I like the fit of PJ.
Yeah, I agree. Grant Williams, ruffling a few feathers.
That's what I was going to bring up.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear he's now in Charlotte as well because of it all. So I don't know exactly what the go was, but was there also a little bit of this in Boston as well?
Yeah. There was, when he left Boston, there was a report through Jaylen Brown that apparently Grant Williams is just like not the funnest guy to be around.
Through Jaylen Brown?
As in Jaylen Brown was the guy that was like, he sort of pissed us off a bit. And then when he was playing for Dallas, Grant Williams, when he came back to Boston, Jalen Green was like, this is going to be the most annoying reunion ever, right? And they were like poking fun, but it was like, that's a little bit of a weird thing to say. Let's just table it. And then now the Mavs saying that they just like had it in their front office goal just to move off this guy no matter what, because it was like he's just annoying. And
was that Mark Cuban though?
Maybe.
I think that.
But also, like, we can believe him. Like,
no, that's fine. But like, I can, if Grant Williams is not easy to work with, then what's Mark Cuban? I get a feeling he's, maybe a little harder to work with. And he holds the keys to the team.
And the example that they gave was that Grant Williams, he was wearing Luka Doncic's signature shoe, and then halfway through this season, he swapped back to Jason Tatum, and it was just like, you said it first, like the term was rubbing people the wrong way. He's just weird. Like, remember when he was invited to someone's wedding in the off season? It was like, on a beach somewhere, and it was like LeBron, Steph, Jason Tatum, like, just some of the biggest superstar names you could ever think of. And then Grant Williams somehow got in, and then there was that pic of him like risen up this chick, and then it just looks like the meme of the dude in a club just like screaming in some chick's ear.
I think he's also trying to rizz up
Livy.
I hate that I said that. I think he's also trying to, showcase his charm with Satu Sabali, who is...
I saw that, yeah.
She's such a gun. And she's, like, cool. She's got a really fluid game, and it would really break my heart if it worked for Grant Williams.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't play for Dallas anymore, so it's going to be harder to get to games.
Yeah. Oh, that could be your excuse. Dude, you're just not in the same... You're not in the same whatever as me.
And Charlotte don't have a WNBA team.
No, they don't. I don't know what the nearest... Oh, fuck, I'm not going to go to so I think overall great moves by the Mavs.
Give us a grade.
Oh, jeez.
For the whole trade deadline for the Mavs.
Whole package. B+ is so safe, but it's also screaming at me.
Is there something between B and B+? No, I'll go B.
B star.
B star. B asterisk.
Yeah.
I'll go B.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, let's move on to the next trade. And more.
Well, you said Knicks before.
Yeah, let's.
Oh, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
really.
thanks, man. I was talking about the Utah Jazz, and not so much about their moves, about the Raptors getting Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji in exchange for Otto Porter, Kira Lewis, and whichever is least favourable of the Thunder, Clippers, Rockets, or Jazz.
Why not?
What?
Why don't you want to talk about?
I don't want to talk about the exact trade.
Yeah.
But they also traded off Simone Fontecchio. Traded off him, essentially giving him to the Detroit Pistons. In exchange, they got Kevin Knox, and the Jazz actually got a 2024 second round pick from the Wizards of the Grizzlies, which is going to be a top 5 second round pick. I know there's the meme on Twitter where it's like, picks 20 to 30 bad, picks 30 to 35 great.
Yeah.
But it is to get, like, Simone Fontecchio is like 28 years old. He's going to be a free agent, and he was good for this team. But it's like, what are the Jazz doing with him? And now they've got the 35th pick. That's cool.
Yeah.
But apparently a bunch of Utah players came out and were really disappointed with what Danny Ainge did, and they said, like, well, we're trying to compete. Like, we've got a really deep team, you know, the Colin Sextons, the Larry Markkinens, the Walker Kesslers, the John Collinses. And they said, like, we've got a really deep team, we've been winning some games, like, we're in the play-in spot at the moment, and then our decision maker is just sort of tearing things down just because he doesn't believe that we can do it. And then if you're like a basketball player, you and I watching, you're like, yeah, fair enough, they're not going to win a title. But if you're a basketball player and you have to play every day and you have to try and win games, it's a little bit like, well, damn, now we're going to like struggle to win games after like doing a great job. We're well coached, there's all this stuff happening, and it's sort of just yelling into thin air. But the fact that it's come out is also a little bit concerning. Like, how much does future free agent Larry Markkinen look at this and go, well, this is 2 years in a row that we've given up something good at the trade deadline, and like, you know, he didn't make a play in last year, like he was injured, however real that injury was down the last 30 games. What do you think about, if you want to talk about the Kelly Olynyk trade, we can. What do you think about the trades themselves, or just the whole philosophy of the Jazz?
Yeah, I think you know what, I think you've actually, much like Jalen Green, have turned the corner. And I think you might. I think you're drinking from the cup of Sean Hyken last week. I think you're more like, God, these players actually are just trying to win.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that it's kind of nice. I think two things. It's kind of nice that that we, you know, we have that like more insight into like all of these players are actually trying to win every game, and like it's so sensationalized everything we make up around it. And the other thing is, like, of course they said that. Like they're not going to be like, awesome, we lost a good player and a good teammate. Yeah. But yeah, some teams are, and like Danny Ainge especially. There's just some people in the NBA that are like known for making moves, and nothing Danny Ainge has done since being in Utah has been going. It's all been going in this like tear down-ish, like on a very slight gradient tear down. There's nothing to suggest that he's going the other way unless he were to trade for a superstar, and then even if you were to bring a superstar in, is the supporting cast ready for that? Don't think so. But yeah, I think maybe it would just be shit to play for a team that is
it must
building
be
this way.
Yeah, and Danny Ainge, there was a thing after he traded Isaiah Thomas when he was with Boston, where he traded him as part of the Kyrie trade after he broke his hip and then his sister died, and he still played in the playoffs, and then weeks later he got traded, right? And I remember there was a report from an anonymous agent that said, my clients will never play for Danny Ainge ever again. Like, that's fucked up what he did, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it was something to put a pin in, and maybe this is something else to put a pin in, but it's also like, Utah aren't going to sign free agents. Like, they never have, right? So it's a bit like, how much is it really going to impact him? Maybe when he's with Boston have had success in free agency, but Danny Ainge, with all the picks from the Cavs and all the picks from the Wolves, it's like he was never going to sign anyone. But it's just something to keep a note of. Like, if it ever comes down to it, where it's like you've got a really good like mid-level free agent, and they're choosing between Danny Ainge and a non-Danny Ainge team, right when this team is ready to compete, it might impact something. But you're right, it is good to get a bit of insight.
Yeah. What are our early returns on Ochai Agbaji? Is giving up a first for him and Kelly Olynyk, is it fine?
No, I think it's bad because Kelly Olynyk's going to be a free agent, and there was some dude on Twitter that was like, great, we've just given up a first round pick for another centre who we have to re-sign in free agency, who's probably not going to be worth whatever he gets.
The sequel to Jake Puddle.
Yeah, but a lot of people I listen to don't like Ochai Agbaji and say he's very bad.
Okay.
I think a pick's a bit rich.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was drafted by the Cavs 2 years ago with, like, the 16th pick, and then immediately bundled into the Johnny Mitch.
Yeah.
What is it, 14?
Yeah. Yeah, 40%, 30%, 74%. The free throws are fine. But that's this season's averages. Definitely not worth the cost of a first-round pick. I'm not too sure what the Raptors are doing. It's been weird since Kawhi left, hey. What's going on? Like, I can't really explain any of their moves. The RJ trade is looking kind of fine for them. Yeah.
The fact that you just called it the RJ trade.
Yeah, but that's because I didn't call it the OG trade. Actually, we don't have to get into the Raptors side of things. I think the Jazz. I think Danny Ainge is still just running this quite analytically.
Yeah. What trade do you want to talk about next?
Well, we touched on the Knicks one earlier.
Should we push him back and talk about him in a minute? Or
talk about Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield, fucking, how many assists has he fucking collated since arriving in Philadelphia?
As a Sixer?
As a Smixer. There you go. Jamie's pulling it up for me. I am Jamie. So today he had 20 and 10.
Yeah. 22 and 10.
22 and 10. He had 8 assists. 8, 6 and 6 are his past assist numbers. Turnovers 2, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Really good.
Really good.
His highest average assists over a season have been 3.6, and early returns, but those are incredible numbers. This is, what would you say, the Nick Nurse effect, which he's also had on Joel Embiid, and just is so good.
Yeah.
Like, he's just so, he's like, he's not on Steph's level, but like
he's one of those dudes that it's like it's an unhuman effect.
He had, I saw, I mean, we've all got a fucking, you can all imagine him hitting a ridiculous three, but just like, he was just so comfortable. He's like, it just looks very natural, and you've got heaps of confidence in him hitting a three that he takes. I'm sure we'd all have players on our team that are shooting like 40% from three, but they have this one pull up or this one catch and shoot where as soon as they get it, you're like, that is you've got no chance of that going in. Whereas Buddy, every time it has a chance of going in.
Yeah, well, the one that sticks in my head is right after the tip. Halliburton gets the ball, flings it to Buddy, who's just gravitated towards the 3-point line, hits a 3 in like 4 seconds. That was pretty cool.
And he hasn't played with Embiid.
No, he hasn't. Yeah, well, Embiid might be out for the rest of the season, maybe.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but so just so it's out there, the Sixers got Buddy Hield. The Pacers got Doug McDermott, Furkan Korkmaz, and a Raptors 2024 second round, 2 seconds. And the Spurs got Marcus Morris and a second. The Spurs are going to waive him. Marcus Morris had this weird report where he said he's leaning towards signing with the Wolves when he gets bought out. Yeah, but I was a bit like, just do it. Like, well, this is something that just gets announced when it's done. So maybe they don't want to sign him, and he's trying to convince them.
The Wolves don't want to sign him.
Yeah,
I was going to say, did the Wolves come out and say they were like signing
No, it was from Marcus Morris's camp. But giving up Buddy and receiving 2 second round picks, Raptors probably good. Trailblazers 29. Who knows? And they acquired Doug McDermott, who look, he might be in the same boat as like non-human shooter, right? Like definitely not to the level of Buddy and Steph, but he's so bad on defense and also not hitting that many threes. So it's like the Pacers have given up like quite an important piece for a team that just traded for Pascal Siakam and wants to make the playoffs and wants to dodge the play-in, which I thought was a little bit weird. Buddy obviously requested a trade before the season started because he saw the writing on the wall that he was not going to be starting, and then eventually he was starting, and he just like he does so much for this Pacers team because of his inhumane shooting.
He looked so good with
Hallie. Yeah,
and every time I saw Obi Toppin catch a pass from Hallie and shoot a three, he hit it.
Yeah. I've got the Indiana Pacers all-time 3-point list up. So this is threes made while playing for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where Buddy is?
Do you know Buddy Hield's full name?
I did years ago.
Shavano Rayner Hield.
That was, well, I would never have said that. Hield? Oh, I thought it was Franklin, no Lance. Alright, all time Indiana Pacers 3 points made while wearing a Pacers jersey.
You want me to do the top 5?
Well, where's Buddy?
Oh, where's Buddy? That's a good question. Let me think on it. Well, Reggie Miller has to be up there.
Reggie Miller is number 1.
Yeah. There's so much of me that wants to say Buddy's number 2.
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, but let's say PG's number 2.
PG's 3.
PG's 3. Okay, and Buddy's not 2. I'm just now.
Yeah.
That's now bury the lead there. Is number 1 a point guard?
Oh, number 1's Reggie.
Sorry, number 2 is a point guard.
No, wing.
Interesting.
More forward than wing.
Danny Granger?
Yeah, Danny Granger 2.
Let's circle back to that.
Danny Granger's
then
got...
I'm going to go Buddy 4.
Buddy is not 4.
Wow.
Buddy's 5th.
Is it Lance?
No.
Is it Corey Joseph or Jeff Teague?
No.
Okay.
Number 4 is Miles Turner.
Wow.
Yeah, with 50 more threes than Buddy.
That'll get ya. In how many more games?
Whoa, Miles Turner has played 400 more games than Buddy. And Buddy has 50 fewer threes. So Buddy's 5th. 6th, George Hill. Then Chuck Pearson, CJ Miles, Justin Holiday.
Wow.
Troy Murphy.
Danny Granger, that surprises me.
Doug McDermott, who's already played for the Pacers, is 15th on this list.
So Granger was 2nd?
Granger was 2nd.
Wow, he did not shoot that many threes, man.
Yeah, 9 seasons.
He also didn't play that many games. Interesting.
Danny Granger has played 1 fewer game than Miles Turner and has 400 more threes.
Yeah. Did you know Danny Granger, I've just seen... how long has awards been a column in Basketball Reference?
I reckon the past couple of... I reckon very, very
couple
recently.
Days?
Yeah.
Danny Granger, in the 08-09 season, he was an all-star and he was 1st in most improved. In 07-08, he was 28th in most improved.
It's like Brownlow votes. It's like all-time most improved votes. Fuck, can we actually figure it? I'd love to see who's leading all-time in most improved votes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You don't become disqualified once you've won one either.
I doubt it.
But
you're definitely not winning two.
I think, no, Leilani Mitchell, well, different league, but Leilani Mitchell, I'm pretty sure, won 2 most improved players.
Fuck, the most improved for that season twice.
2010 and then 2019. Wow, crazy. She was... Wow, winning it at 34 is insane.
That's pretty fucked, actually.
Especially after winning it. Anyhow, there's got to be some more trades to announce.
There are some more trades. Do you want to talk about the Knicks or maybe couch that for a little bit?
Let's push the Knicks back.
We'll push the Knicks back. Here's the headline. The upstart Thunder add a veteran for their playoff run. The Thunder acquire Gordon Hayward.
Corporal Hayward.
Who fits Oklahoma, maybe the Thunder. And the Hornets got Davis Bertans, Vasily Micic, Trey Mann, and 2 second-round picks.
Yeah.
I think it's keeping the salary slot alive for when they do want to make a trade again. The Thunder. They've obviously got too many players on their roster, so sort of giving up Trey Mann for nothing is a bit of a downside for...
Is it for nothing, though? I think I am falling into this, like, bringing in experience is a good... Not falling into it, but I think this is a great, like, adding experience on the court move. Because Gordon Hayward was really, really good in Utah, and then, I mean, just such an unfortunate career in Boston. Yeah. But he has been a great player in the NBA, and it's kind of like a low commitment move, sorta. Because I feel like Hayward would happily come off the bench, get a DMP, or start, And I think that he just would complement... He's just, is he still slightly above average at everything in basketball? Or is he probably at average now?
Or is he like
below average?
Yeah. Sorry, I've just pulled up his stats.
His injury.
In his second year, he was 23rd in most improved.
Oh.
And in 2016-17, he was 12th in most improved.
Damn.
And then in 2014-15, he was 20th in most improved.
God, slipping.
This is cool. He's what's his comp right now? Like Nick Batum? Like Nick Batum worse on defense? But
better at shooting?
Yeah.
Better on everything.
Yeah, is he just Batum?
Yeah, offense Batum.
Yeah, offense Batum.
There was first contract year Batum, then there's offense Batum.
There's 5x5 Batum, which is like the 3x3 tournament, but 5 players play and a bench of 7. Adding experience. They did play in the play-in last year and lost. Or did they win one and lose?
The
Oklahomas. They lost to the Pels.
Oh, I can't remember. They didn't make the playoffs.
No.
Anyway. They might have won against the Pels.
The Pels.
Well, there's no way to check this stuff up.
And I don't want to.
All good.
Yeah, okay. He's Gordon Hayward on offense, right?
Yeah.
And how much is the veteran leadership? Like, could you have not just brought in, like, Rudy Gay off the scrap heap? Like, could you not have brought... He's a free agent, right? Could you not have done that? Like, why do we need Gordon Hayward? Why do we need... I guess we need to give up Trey Mann and, Bertans is expiring.
I think that must be part of it.
Just because you need to turn 3 into 1 because you're going to draft so many guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has to have, like, at least play a role. And, 2 second-round picks in the next 2 drafts is kind of, like, maybe a bit of a relief for the Thunder to get, like... Because how many first-round picks are they going to be picking over the next few years?
How many second-round picks are they going to be picking as well, right? Would they ever just... Because I know this happens in the NFL and baseball... Actually, fact-check me on either of those comments. Would they ever just decline to draft someone? Like, let's say you've just drafted 2 first-round picks and you've got, like, the 55th pick. Would you ever just say, no thanks?
I think you can with second-round picks, but I don't think you can with first-round picks.
You wouldn't for first, but...
Yeah.
Would you ever just decline to draft anyone?
I think that does happen.
Yeah, it does happen in the NBA.
I'm pretty sure.
I know it happens in the NBA G League draft.
Maybe it doesn't happen anymore, but I've heard of it happening in the past.
It's got to be... Alright, let's just see if anyone did it last year. There's the whole fucking Kyle Lowry shit, so there's 58 picks in a draft.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing.
Like, every single time there's 58 picks, it's like, right, who spoke to Kyle Lowry before they were supposed to?
Yeah.
No. God, the 57th pick in this year's draft was Trace Jackson Davies.
Oh my god.
I just can't stop talking about the Warriors.
Go get your numbers, young fella.
We're down 5 points to the Clippers. That's
wow, that game's still on?
We're down 6 points to the Clippers, yeah. That's really sad.
Did they have daylight savings recently? No joke.
I don't think they do daylight savings.
Don't they?
Fuck. You're asking the wrong bloke. Steph's got 41.
When is there ever a game on at 4:44 and there's time to go?
Oh, often.
Not often.
Often, yeah. Well, West Coast late game. I'm often watching basketball at 5 o'clock.
Los Angeles. What's it called? Daylight savings.
No, because they would be concerned about their cows getting confused.
Clock changes? Yeah, they have it.
Yeah.
Timeanddate.com. I can fact
One of the best websites. Gordon Hayward, fine pickup. I like that it cost them seconds and Trey Mann to keep the salary slot alive. So when they trade Gordon Hayward next year after paying him like 2 for $20 with a team option on the second year to get, the star player, it works.
Yeah. Daylight savings starts 10th of March 2024 and ends 3rd of November 2024. That's in Los Angeles, California. Just lean over and get a good view there, Sean.
Oh, we were down by 3 and then now James Harden's taking another free throw to go up by 5.
Well, should we go to a break?
Yeah, that's a great time to go to a break. Good thinking.
This episode of The Deep 2 is presented by Gelateria Bico, the official gelato of The Deep 2. Gelateria Bico, handmade gelato in the heart of Brunswick.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? Find the W Basketball Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
And we're back.
And before we get to the Knicks, what about that Super Bowl?
Yeah, well, I don't have much to add to the Super Bowl. I just watched it and enjoyed it.
You don't have any takeaways? What about everyone being an industry plant these days?
Huh?
Ice Spice industry plant. Kevin Hart industry plant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god, don't look into it. It's just the worst shit. It's the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
Twitter, it's like Twitter theories about the most successful people in the world.
A plant for who, though?
Just it's like, where do these people come from? They're obviously being pushed by industry members.
Right.
It's like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
So you're supposed to be born into fame. Like Ice Spice is she shouldn't be. Yeah, I really don't want to get into it.
Oh, I'm so happy. Happy.
The Phoenix Suns picked up Royce O'Neal and David Roddy and gave up
big body.
Keita Bates, Yuta Watanabe, Jordan Goodwin and Shimizu Metu.
Yeah.
I thought Yuta Watanabe I really wanted him to sign with the Warriors in the offseason. He was good for the Nets last year.
Yeah. And the Grizzlies are going to keep him?
Sure. I mean, You didn't watch the Grizzlies game today, did you?
No.
He's on the. Yeah. What do you reckon about getting Royce O'Neal, Kevin Durant getting his guy?
Getting his guy back. I think it's a.
Once another on the roster, DNP, CD.
There you go.
For the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Royce O'Neal.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was a very abrupt lead-in. They also. Not part of this trade, but they signed Thaddeus Young off waivers.
Yeah.
And I just think they're two very solid picks. I think that their role players were... Oh, we were talking about it earlier. Actually, this is something I wanted to say when you said the second apron has affected teams and allowed them to make a Phoenix situation.
Yeah.
But the Phoenix situation happened after the second apron was implemented.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this just brings better, more versatile, more experienced... minimum guys in air quotes that bolster their depth, don't allow the Suns to not have to play their depth pieces as much, and just those in between guys that aren't going to make mistakes. And Royce O'Neal had a triple double last year.
Yeah. Did he really?
Yeah, I want
crazy.
to say it was against the Blazers.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then Thaddeus Young, what more can you say about Thaddeus?
What more can we say?
Yeah.
Good.
One
of the greats.
I just think that these 6'6" to 6'8" players that can just do a little bit of everything. Royce O'Neal, I feel is still, completely fine on D.
Yeah.
And by completely fine on D, I mean you're happy to have him as one of the defenders closing a game, or at any situation of the game. Thad Young probably doesn't have the athleticism for it anymore, but I think that. He can be in that leadership role and play 12 minutes a night, and then probably none in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade to give up 3-4 dudes who weren't playing to get two guys who might.
Yeah.
I think Royce O'Neal definitely play it.
Yeah, and then it is at what cost? What is it? Utah. Is that?
Yeah,
is that
but he was getting DNPs for Phoenix.
For the Phoenix.
Who gave up this pick? There's
someone.
it's either the Bucks, either the Pistons, Bucks, Magic 26, the Grizzlies. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I feel Royce O'Neal as well is a very Frank Vogel player. Frank Vogel will be I feel Frank Vogel.
He'll play him at the 2.
Wherever he plays him, I feel Kade Bates the up, Jordan Goodwin, Yuta Watanabe, Chimezie Metu. I feel those are 4 players that. Have one mistake, and then Frank Vogel's I've seen enough.
Yeah, they're sort of D'Antoni players. They'll shoot, they'll shoot or run, and they look great on offense, but they probably shouldn't be playing.
Frank Vogel I feel isn't confident enough to give a guy a chance.
Yeah.
He needs to play a guy that's been given that he's seen 600 games from. But I think lumping the Thad Young signing with this, I think they're good moves.
Yeah. Timberwolves getting Monty Morris. Pistons get Shake Milton, Troy Brown, and a Timberwolves 2030 second. Monty Morris, I really like him. You saw us share. I just share his shit to my story all the time. He's really good. It's good to have.
I will say, when Monty Morris and KCP were traded for each other, I think you thought that Monty Morris was the best player in the
I know,
trade,
it's crazy. And Will Barton was in that trade. And then he averaged 2 points and retired.
Yeah, memorable too. But when you watch your own, you're always gunning for your own guys. Oh. But I was this Sean kid must be high or something, because KCP is so much better than Monty Morris.
Oh god, that's what might be my shittest take. But
you have that much worse.
You've needed a point guard you needed a point guard in Washington.
I was gonna say.
At the time, you had no point guards, and it was Bradley Beal's got 4 assists. That's sick, man.
Yeah.
The Nets and Raptors trade Dennis Schroeder for Spencer Dinwiddie.
Wait.
You want to talk about Shake Milton?
No, I don't. I was just going to say Pistons big movers. And I think is this competence?
Yeah, maybe it does look good, but it's
is it giving competence?
They've shown incompetence and incontinence
yeah.
for a long time. That shouldn't. It's it shouldn't. You shouldn't excuse someone for doing such horrible things to you, but they buy you flowers on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good asset play, I guess, getting a pick for someone they got last off season in Monty Morris.
Yeah, for our pick.
They got our pick.
What they give up to get Monty Morris from you?
Oh my god, I can't remember.
It's probably our second round pick.
Oh, there you go. Well, they've broken even.
Raptors and Nets swapped Dennis Schroeder for Spencer Dinwiddie, and then the Raptors waived Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
That's right. The Raptors don't have a point guard, and they needed one. And then Spencer Dinwiddie became a free agent, and his agent said that it was because the Raptors didn't want to accept his $1.5 million trade clause, which I heard from Zach Lowe that was just good PR by his team to say that, like, apparently he was just considered a toxic asset, and this was just the Raptors just getting offered Dennis Schroeder, who they didn't want themselves, and then just waived Spencer Dinwiddie because they didn't want him on their team, because the Nets didn't want him on their team because they thought he was a toxic asset.
Yeah.
And then Spencer Dinwiddie is now signed with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, all right, let's go through it. So I was of the belief that Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young leaving the Raptors. I was also of the belief that these are two people that the Spurs should go after. Thaddeus for that experiential leadership role. Dennis Schroeder for, you know,
a point guard.
Or 20 shots.
Yeah,
like 20 shots that
yeah.
aren't fucking Jeremy Sohan missing a three.
Yeah.
Or whoever, pick your Spurs role player that's shit.
Yeah.
Shooting. And then also being able to get Wemby the ball.
Yeah.
Even if Schroeder is like a shoot first player, there's going to be 8 scenarios a game that another role player would not get Wemby the ball, and Schroeder will be like, oh, I could, you know, make a nice little pass here, get myself a highlight. And now the Nets have Schroeder, which is like, do what you want.
Can I say, Schroeder went to Toronto because he wanted to start, and then they traded for Emmanuel quickly because that's a good move to do.
Yeah.
And then Schroeder's team got pissed off and were like, well, we wanted to start, that's why we came to Toronto. And he must have quietly asked for a trade and got it.
Yeah. You'd assume so.
Yeah.
And then, the Raptors clear cap space. I feel like, what is this, like that's not that Spider-Man meme, but it's like, let me trade my shit for your shit.
Yeah.
Like my problem for your problem.
Spider-Man, famous for trading things.
Venom. The Venom meme. And now Spencer Dinwiddie, someone I was a fan of, and then he ended up on the Wizards, and now it seems as though he is not the most likable player.
Yeah.
And he just keeps bouncing around from team to team, and teams seem better off without him. Is just the basketball side of things, is it good in LA? Is it good to add Spencer Dinwiddie? Is he better than any of the other guards? Will he be getting 20 minutes, and would you be happy with him getting 20 minutes?
Well, Gabe Vincent hasn't been Miami Gabe Vincent.
Is he playing?
I think he was injured for a long time, but when he played, he was bad.
Yeah.
It's like him and Max Strus. They just lost their Miami juju, but they got paid, so it all works out.
Yeah.
Like, Austin Reeves is better. Who else?
D'Angelo Russell, is he better?
Yeah, well...
Is he?
I don't know. Yeah. At least he can shoot. Like, Dinwiddie hasn't been able to shoot.
Oh, yeah, Gabe Vincent has played 5 games.
Yeah.
Shooting 11% from 3.
No, that's alright.
Fuck, that... Oh, God. He was... Oh, my God. That's actually crazy.
He was like the crown jewels. Oh, my God. They signed a great role player.
They won the off-season.
Yeah. But the Lakers always win the off-season if you're on fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
So the Raptors clear more 2024 cap room.
Yeah.
I'll name some free agents and tell me where they should go after him. Tyrese Maxey, probably he's restricted, and they just traded for Emmanuel quickly.
I mean, go after him, though.
Kentucky teammates. LeBron James.
He'd be a good get.
He'd be a good warrior. Paul George.
I mean, why would they not go for all of these players?
James Harden.
Don't go for him.
OG Anunoby. Pascal Siakam.
There you go.
Nick Claxton. They've got 2 centers already. Drew Holiday. Maybe in a different window.
Nah.
Age-wise.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Quickly's their own. Tobias Harris.
No.
D'Angelo Russell.
No.
Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
But they're clearing a lot of cap space.
Yeah.
Isaiah Hardenstein, Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan,
You've gone through the
Klay
list.
Thompson. Yeah, can you believe I'm at the bottom of the list now?
Yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie. Whoa, Dario Saric was ahead of Spencer Dinwiddie on this list. Yeah, what's the plan? Unless they're trading, like they're using cap space to bring someone in.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's no big dudes on the trade market now. Like maybe is Dame going to get mad after a year in Milwaukee and ask for a trade? I don't
it would have to be a trade after going through the list of
Yeah.
free agents. It'd have to be a trade that they're shaping their war chest towards. Did you? So I've been watching a couple of Bucks games lately. Wink, wink. Keep your eyes peeled, ears tuned, whatever the case may be. Did you see the Bucks Heat game the other day?
Bucks Heat when they yesterday?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Bad hair, like too much Patrick Beverley.
So many whistles.
Yeah.
Not only like whistles in like actual whistles, but the shot clock wasn't working.
Yeah.
So there was just like a whistle every 10 seconds for the first 6 minutes of the game, and you had no clue whether it was a foul or it was just the shot clock that was an issue.
Far out.
And our friend and compadre Alessio Conte talked about how unwatchable the NBA was.
Yeah.
This would have been the piece de resistance of that article.
I actually, after you, I got another piece of the resistance.
Well, I was just gonna say, in the Bucks. Looking pretty unwatchable in the Doc Rivers emoji.
Yeah. I was watching that Warriors-Phoenix game where Steph Curry hit the game winner.
Oh, so good.
And housemate of the program, Doc, was watching it with me. He doesn't watch basketball, and I was just, come sit down. Like, there's a minute to go, right? Bradley Beal hit that step back, like scores a tide. Golden State doesn't do anything, or maybe like Steph gets a layup, scores a tide. Devin Booker dribble, fade away, hits the shot. There's 3 seconds left, and it's like, oh my god, we're down by 2. And then Doc's like, oh man, like you're gonna lose. Like there's 3-4 seconds left, and the time's gonna run out, and you're gonna lose by 2 points. Steph Curry gets that shot, hits the game, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, bro, like this is pretty fucking cool to watch. Like you're watching a good one, like. And he's like, fuck, that's sick. And then went down. Phoenix had like 0.7 seconds to score. Something happened with the clock. They checked that. They go in. They foul while the ball's in midair, but it was released out of their hands. And then they reviewed that. And then eventually they just throw the ball into KD, but Draymond just plays good D with 0.7 seconds left. But the post Steph Curry shot was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like he had left by then. And I was like, yeah, this is fair enough. This is like this is the bit we don't like.
That Wiggins on Booker foul, a bit bogus,
a
bit lame as well. Like, what are you calling a foul for?
Yeah, let him play. I mean, but then like the next night, James Harden does that thing where he gets his arm up Jaden McDaniels. Did you see that play where like Jaden McDaniels was reaching for the foul? James Harden hooks his arm and holds it up, and they both stop. They both like stop moving, look at the ref, and the ref's like, keep going. And they just keep going.
Has it been nostalgic watching Harden make those plays in 2024?
It's been a bit nostalgic just watching Harden. He's hitting shots again. It's like, what happened? What happened in Philly? Too much Philly cheesesteaks. Oh! That's my team, G. You want to move on?
Well, Johnny from earlier in the podcast has to come on an episode. He had... we don't like to talk about gambling on here, but he had a 16-leg multi on the Warriors-Suns game, and the only leg that failed was he had Suns for little win, and as Steph Curry
hit the shot
that lost Johnny $350.
Whoa.
Well, it was a $5 stake.
Ah, okay. He didn't put $350 on 16 legs.
But as I like to say, maybe you shouldn't be shit at punting.
Give me one sentence on this. The Celtics acquire Xavier Tillman.
One? Word or sentence?
Sentence.
What do you want? Yeah, they needed front court depth from the start of the season. Does Xavier Tillman, shift them into full blown title favourites? I'd probably say no. The title hinges on Porzingis being healthy at the end of the season.
One sentence.
Xavier Tillman does a little bit.
He does a little bit. Good backup. So this one thing I want to talk about is that the Nuggets drafted a guy called Ismail Kamagate 2 years ago, and I believe he's a French centre, or if he's not French, he's playing in the French league, right?
Is he not Japanese?
No.
Your pronunciation was so Japanese.
Ismail Kamagate, but he looks. I did a draft profile on him for nowglove.com. Nice. Can't believe it's that simple. Because they were looking to draft him, and then they drafted him in the second round. And he's a real bouncy backup center, right? Like he's sort of imagine Montrezl Harrell with less sort of creation in the post, right? It's like real bouncy, not a great defender, but he can get up. And he's been a Eurostash, and he's been in France, I believe. Have you got it up, Jamie?
He's been with Emporio Armani Milan.
Whoa!
Yeah,
is that the name of the team?
He's just a month ago to the day. He was loaned to Bertram de Fortuna.
So the Clippers acquired him for $2.68 million, right? It was a trade for cash for this dude who's a Eurostash, who looks quite good. I think he's still like 21 years old or something. 23. And it sounds like he is going to come over to the NBA. And the Clippers traded cash, which will be the first time that they can in a while because they're over the second apron. But the second apron also says that teams over the second apron can't trade more salary. They can't receive more salary in a trade.
Yeah.
And they can't give up any picks in a trade. But it doesn't say anything about trading Eurostash guys. So they paid for one of the better Eurostash guys there is. Like, how many other dudes do we know? This is the only Eurostash that I know of because I did the draft profile on him. But they traded for a dude who next year, when they assume to be over the second apron after re-signing James Harden, they can use this as an asset to potentially pick something up.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. The CBA... Every time there's a new one, what does it mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? What do you mean? What's going on? There's ways, man. There's loopholes.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a way to trade for a Eurostash guy to acquire cash. So you always look at it and it's like, the guy that they traded away was on a $1.4 million contract and it saved them $20 million. Like something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always ways to get around it, and this is just like such basketball nerd shit. Where it's like, remember when Nuggets acquired cash for his Gante, and it ended up being really beneficial for the James Harden.
Well,
a few years later.
Well, the owner. All right, unexpected interruption. We're back. Let's talk about the final deal. Yeah, no, basketball nerd shit. Ismail Kamagate.
Yeah.
The Knicks. We like it. The Knicks acquired Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks, former Knick. And the Pistons acquired Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Quentin Grimes. I sort of like Quentin Grimes for the Pistons. Ryan Arcidiacono, who was waived. And the Knicks 2 second-round picks from the Knicks. A lot of second-round picks.
Yeah.
The Pistons picked up 3 second-round picks and then picked up Simon Font for nothing. How's your booking going?
No, I've just lost the fucking... The Google Doc. Have you deleted it?
Oh, the Google Doc I'm on right now.
Yeah, wait, why is it...
Google Drive opens up different now.
Oh, this is a shame.
So is Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks for the Knicks?
Yeah, I just Googled Alec Burks to see his age. He's finally not 29.
Wow.
He's 32.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he mustn't have been 29 for 3 years.
He was 29 in my mind. We can talk about the Bojan together, but I want to know your thoughts on the Alec Burks side of things, because I feel like I obviously haven't kept up with him for 3 years. Is he still a good quick point getter?
3 years ago he was a Warrior, wasn't he? Maybe.
Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
But is he still good at getting 8 points in 3 minutes?
Yeah, this year he's been playing well.
Yeah.
But I just don't trust it. I watched a full season of him and Kai Bowman for the Warriors. It's always empty calories, and it's like, you got to have one of those dudes off the bench. But you can just get there's heaps of dudes in the G League who are just athletic 2 guards who can hit a couple of shots. That is discounting Alec Burks a lot. He's shooting really efficient numbers from everywhere. But they've already got Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart.
Yeah, so Dante DiVincenzo, who's been just killing it since the OG trade.
Yeah, the RJ trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been averaging, I'm reading this for the first time here, 27 points a game. Is that true?
Well, you're reading it?
No, I was looking at you the whole time. I read it in the chat the other day.
Yeah, it's something. He's had a few 30 burgers.
Far out.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
He never did that for the Warriors, and he was.
Oh, well, I don't think the Knicks should be counting on it.
But yeah, it's just more depth. It's like it's the second apron era. You got the shot clock era. You got the second apron era. Do we need 11 good players? Maybe 2 teams are doing it. We'll find out if it's good.
Yeah, and Bojan. Famously the Wizards traded Kelly Oubre and a first round pick, these are 2 different trades. It was Kelly Oubre for Trevor Ariza as our push to become contenders.
Yeah.
I think a year, and then the next year, or in 2 years we traded a first round pick for Bojan Bogdanovic, who spent 30 games with us, and
From the Nets, it would have been.
potentially.
Did you ever have Karis LeVert? Did you draft Karis LeVert and then trade him?
I don't think so, but that could have happened because we did draft a player that ended up being this is gonna kill me. I think we drafted a guy, or our pick ended up being the Lakers.
All right, Bojan Bogdanovic traded to Wizards. Nets receive Marcus Thornton and more. What's a lottery protected 2017 first round pick?
Yeah.
Oh wait. Wizards will receive Bogdanovic, Chris McCullough in exchange for Andrew Nicholson and Marcus Thornton.
Yeah. Andrew Nicholson
Still getting paid by the Brooklyn Nets.
No, the Blazers.
Oh, really?
He's on the Blazers. He's been on the Blazers.
So you're only allowed to stretch one guy at a time, and they decided to stretch
2.
him. Oh, okay.
I think it might be 2 because his stretch was like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, because it's double add 1, so he would have had 3. All right, this is the last year of paying him $2.84 million.
The Blaze. Crazy.
Also, they're paying Didi Luzada.
Yeah.
Until 2029.
Oh my god. When does it switch from former basketball player Andrew Nicholson to American businessman Andrew Nicholson?
Yeah.
Signed a deal.
It's like, these are my investing tips. Oh, how'd you make your money? I just make $2 million a year. Can you just fucking stop asking questions?
I used to be good at something.
Also, they're paying Eric Bledsoe $1.3 million next year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
do what you will with that information.
This is so fun.
Last time Bojan Bogdanovic was on an NBA team was, you'd have to say, the 21-22 Utah Jazz.
You'd have to say that.
Just a year after, he was on the 2021 Utah Jazz and came 19th in the most improved, which was just 2 years after he was on
that was a close one.
He was on the 18-19 Indiana Pacers and he came 14th in the most improved.
This is so good.
This is so good. But I think.
Wait, who came 13th that year? I remember it being close.
Yeah, it was a coin flip. It was one of the. It was a beat reporter for fucking, I don't know, New York.
Yeah, nice. No. We'll move
McCullough. On. Yeah. So Bojan Bogdanovic, pretty proven player. I think pretty consistent scorer. You know, maybe if Alec Burks, it's like, oh, don't get Alec Burks, just get Kai Bowman.
Yeah.
What would you scale up? You'd say Bojan Bogdanovic is probably 4 tiers above Alec Burks, whereas Kai Bowman is probably 2 tiers below Alec Burks.
Yeah.
And just stay with us.
I'm being rude to Alec Burks.
Yeah, definitely. But he isn't the cornerstone piece in this trade. And I just like the points added by New York. More so, I like the points added, like the purely individual scoring added to a Tom Thibodeau.
Like, get good players.
Yeah, but just get a guy that can just score the basketball, you know, on a Tom Thibodeau specific team. And yeah, I haven't watched much of the Knicks lately, but I'm definitely gonna keep them on my they'll be atop my list to watch in the coming weeks.
It's good to get Bojan Bogdanovic right now because they're out one Julius Randle until just after the All-Star break. So he's a dude who can just slide in at the 4 and he's very low usage. They're just adding points per game. Hey, they're just adding good basketball players, and it looks good. Like it's. I wonder how far Jalen Brunson can take him. But it doesn't really matter. This year, you've got one of the deepest teams. Next year, teams are generally just going to get weaker at the top end because of the second apron, and maybe they'll come more down to your level. But also, you sort of need like a top 5 player, and Jalen Brunson might be top 10, maybe 15. 10 there's 10 good players.
There's 10 better players than Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
In the league or in the East?
In the league.
In the league, there's easily 10 players better than Jalen Brunson.
I've just gone through every single team's payroll. The Detroit Pistons are paying Dwayne Dedmon $2.7 million for the next 2 years. And I think I saw someone's paying Nick Stauskas $700K next year.
There you go.
That was fun.
The last point on the Knicks for me is I like that they're adding the points per game. Like they've built the team very well.
Yeah.
And now they can just like bring in points and shooting. Like they've got enough Dante DiVincenzo's and Josh Harts that are just going to do like the good teammate stuff while also being completely inoffensive and you know, most of the time complimentary on offense. But you've got your closers, you know, and now you can just add 4 minutes of scoring in the third quarter to build on a lead potentially. I think this is like a lot of like the Knicks are now just solidified themselves as like top 6 in the East for the coming seasons. Yeah, and like how long were they fucking awful?
Yeah, that's true. There's something to be said for that. I'd love if there's a Julius Randle trade this offseason.
Oh my god! Like, wouldn't they all
for like, man, like you got OG Anunoby. Yeah. If I'd love a Julius Randle trade.
Yeah, I would. I think the Knicks would love it as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, any further comments, mate?
Yeah. I also had an article out the other day on the Australian Opals. I also had a pod earlier this week. Don't listen to the pod, but read the article.
Why not listen to the pod?
That Tuesday, I went from gonna record with Marco to trying to finish the article to then you had potentially next week's guests. Yeah. So to then organising this pod, and then I was like, "Fuck!" And then I was like, "Okay, I'll record the W." Yeah. So it went from not being on my radar at all, to being at the top, to then being at like third or fourth. Yeah. And it was fine.
And you were writing the article and shit.
And it was fine, but it's like it's very raw. Yeah. Whereas the article, I feel like I actually really like the article.
I really like the article as well. It's a good way to do those sort of things when there's a major event, and check it out on the deep2.com. When there's a major event like the Olympic qualifying tournament, it's really good to dot point it pretty much and give it subheadings, because you sort of need it. You need it for that because you have so many thoughts about the tournament. You can't write a fluid article like that. You can't write "Is Jalen Green turning a corner?" because you need to hit you need to be everywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it was a great decision by you and well executed.
Yeah, I like what the final product. I think I could have also done it in 500 less or 500 more words. But I'm happy. I love covering the Opals. It's like. It's so fun to follow a team that's good, man.
Put your flag in the ground now, like as of today, the 15th of February, what medal are we going to get, or where are we going to finish?
Oh, man. So this is something I touch on in the article. The team that we took to Brazil doesn't win a medal. I think that we have great players waiting to come into the national team that have been national team mainstays. If they do come in, I'm thinking mainly of Steph Talbot, Christy Wallace, Darcy Garvin. If they do come in, then we don't need to shore up too much of what we did at the OQT. And if those 3 players come in, then I would say we should get at least a bronze. I would say the US will obviously win gold. Belgium, I think, they're just that bit better than us.
But they had a bad World Cup. Didn't
Belgium.
Didn't they?
They had a bad World Cup. Their best player was got injured while they were there. Okay. And then I don't think they had Kiara Linskens. I think she usually she has had injury issues, and they also didn't have her at the OQT. Yeah. And Brianna Stewart still needed to get a tip in at the buzzer for the US to beat Belgium. Wow. Like, Belgium's good. Yeah, wow. Belgium's really good.
No shitting.
And Messerman, when she is in control of the team, is just like.
Is it Messerman or Messerman?
It's Messerman. Right. I think that when I first after being at the Euro basket, they just pronounce everyone's name correctly.
Yeah, it's crazy how they do that over there. It's so beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, genuinely, just like Messerman's the one that stands out. But like, you just learn how to pronounce every name correctly. Yeah. But I would say, US clearly first, Belgium just that little bit better than us to be second, and then. I think we are third. I think we're clearly third. Yeah, but there are great teams like Spain, although they're a bit older, bit more shallow. France don't have the top end talent anymore. China have our number, I think, but I think that so many things went wrong in our game against them in the World Cup, and we just have such better players than them. Yeah. But yeah, I think that that's kind of our field, and I think that we should be third.
Also, it's basketball. Like, if we're heading in as a top 3 team, you're going to play the game. Something might happen.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun.
Yeah, and I talked to a few players, but I talked to Sarah Blitzarves about it, and she was just like, so much of these tournaments is just having one good game. It's not, you don't have the luxury of playing a full season.
Yeah.
It's like, we got this many weeks, whatever it is, to get ready, 2, 3, 4, and then sometimes you just have a bad game at the wrong time. And I think that's what happened against China.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should be on the podium.
All right, Lukey, I will speak to you next time.
Yeah, see ya.
The Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show is your fortnightly dose of the lighter side of basketball, hosted by me, Marco.
And me, Lucas. We take a more laid-back approach, talking about the NBA, the WNBA, FIBA basketball, culture, whatever tickles our fancy or grinds our gears.
The show is filled with great guests, classic gags, and a healthy dose of tangents in honour of the great man himself.
The Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show, fortnightly on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
Loves just talking about the league, certain things like that.